Scene opens with dramatic, slow-motion footage of Caitlin Clark walking onto the court, the crowd roaring, but the camera suddenly freezes on a single piece of paper in her hand. The screen cuts to black. Text appears, she's back. But nothing is the same. The wait is over. After months of speculation, rumors, and tearful goodbyes, Caitlin Clark is officially returning to the basketball court. The queen is back on her throne. The prodigal daughter has come home. Fans are celebrating in the streets. Social media has crashed. Ticket prices have skyrocketed. But Yanni, here's where it gets complicated. Because this isn't the fairy tale comeback everyone was expecting. There's a catch. A huge one. And nobody, not the fan, whispers are circulating behind closed doors. Sources close to the team are leaking fragments of a story that no one wants to believe. Some say it's a contract clause. Others say it's a health condition. A few even suggest that Caitlin Clark herself is having second thoughts. But what's the truth? Why is Stephanie White refusing to comment? Why is Caitlin Clark avoiding eye contact with reporters? Why is the team's front office staying suspiciously silent? Something is wrong. Something is being hidden. And the clock is ticking. Today, Yanni, we're going to uncover the truth. Because Caitlin Clark is back. But this time, she may not be playing for the reasons you think. And once you hear what's really going on, you'll never look at her return the same way again. The announcement that shocked the world. Scene opens with breaking news graphics, flashing red alerts, and frantic reporters speaking over each other. The headline reads, "Clark confirms return, but details are murky." It started with a single tweet. A cryptic, three-word message from Caitlin Clark's official account. "I'm coming back." Within minutes, the post had millions of views. Fans exploded with joy. News outlets interrupted their regular programming. Sports analysts scrambled to prepare segments. The entire basketball world came to a standstill. But then, the confusion began. Because the tweet was quickly deleted and replaced with another message. Official announcement coming soon. Stay tuned. That's when the speculation started. Why delete the original message? Was it a mistake? Was it a hack? Or was someone, perhaps her agent, perhaps her coach, perhaps the league itself, trying to control the narrative? Reporters camped outside the team's training facility. Paparazzi followed Caitlin's car. Fans gathered with signs, cheering and crying, desperate for answers. And then, 3 days later, the official press release dropped. Simple, professional, emotionless. No quotes from Caitlin. No quotes from Stephanie White. No details about her recovery. No mention of her contract. No mention of her future. The public was given the bare minimum. And that's when the whispers began. Inside sources started leaking information to select journalists. Off the record, of course. The rumors were vague, contradictory, and unsettling. Some said, she's only returning because of a contractual obligation. She doesn't actually want to play right now. Others claimed, her injury hasn't fully healed. She's risking permanent damage by coming back so soon. And the most disturbing rumor of all, Caitlin Clark is being pressured to return by people who don't have her best interests at heart. None of these rumors were confirmed, but none of them were denied either. And the silence from Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White was deafening. For a player who had always been open, honest, and media-savvy, this sudden shift in behavior was alarming. Caitlin Clark had never shied away from cameras before. She had never hidden from tough questions. She had always been the first to speak her mind. But now, she was invisible. And the more she stayed silent, the louder the rumors became. The contract clause that changed everything. Scene opens with a close-up of a legal document. Text is blurred, but bold letters read. Clause 7B, mandatory return. A hand slams a gavel down. Behind every great athlete is a great contract. And behind Caitlin Clark's return is a contract clause that nobody knew existed until now. According to multiple sources close to the negotiations, Caitlin Clark's current contract contains a highly unusual, highly controversial provision. It's called the mandatory return clause. And here's what it means. If a player is injured and sidelined for more than 6 months, the team has the right to demand that player return to active play within a specified time frame, regardless of whether the player feels ready. It's a clause designed to protect the team's investment. It ensures that star players don't drag out their recoveries, costing the franchise millions in lost revenue. But for Caitlin Clark, it meant that she didn't have a choice. She wasn't returning because she felt ready. She wasn't returning because she missed the game. She was returning because she had to. And that changes everything. BU's returning to professional basketball after a career-threatening injury isn't just about physical readiness. It's about mental readiness. It's about confidence. It's about trust. Trust in your body. Trust in your training. Trust in the people around you. If a player isn't mentally prepared, no amount of talent can save them. And right now, according to insiders, Caitlin Clark is not mentally prepared. She's been having panic attacks. She's been struggling with insomnia. She's been crying in the locker room after practice, away from the cameras, away from the public. She's been telling her closest confidants that she's not ready. But the contract doesn't care about readiness. The contract cares about dates, deadlines, dollars. And so, Caitlin Clark is being forced to step onto that court. Not because, and that, Yanni, is the huge catch. Stephanie White's secret battle behind closed doors. Scene opens with Stephanie White pacing in her office late at night. Papers are scattered everywhere. She's on the phone, whispering, clearly agitated. She hangs up and stares at a photo of Caitlin Clark, her expression filled with pain. Stephanie White knew about the clause. She knew about it long before the public did. And she fought against it, with everything she had. Behind closed doors, Stephanie White has been waging a war against the front office, the lawyers, and the league officials who are forcing Caitlin Clark to return prematurely. She's submitted medical reports. She's brought in independent doctors. She's argued, pleaded, and even threatened to resign. But the answer was always the same. The contract is binding. She has to play. Stephanie White was furious. She knew that Caitlin wasn't ready. She could see it in her eyes. She could feel it in her hesitation during practice. She could hear it in the trembling of her voice when they spoke privately. "I will not let her be sacrificed for a corporate bottom line," Stephanie told a close friend. "I don't care if they fire me. I don't care if I never coach again. I will not let them destroy her." But what could she do? The front office had the power. The lawyers had the documents. The league had the rules. And Stephanie White was just one woman. So she made a decision. If Caitlin had to play, Stephanie would be there with her, every step of the way. She would protect her on the court. She would monitor her minutes. She would pull her out at the first sign of trouble. And if anyone tried to hurt Caitlin Clark, they would have to go through Stephanie White first. It wasn't a perfect solution. It wasn't even a good solution. But it was the only one she had. And so, Stephanie White stands on that sideline not just as a coach, but as a shield. A shield for a player who never asked to be put in this position. A shield for a young woman who deserves so much better than the hand she's been dealt. The fans are divided, support or outrage. Scene opens with split screens showing fans celebrating, fans protesting, social media posts, and news headlines arguing both sides of the debate. As soon as the news of Caitlin Clark's forced return broke, the public reaction was immediate and deeply divided. On one side, there were the optimists. They believed that Caitlin Clark's return, even if forced, was a good thing. They argued that being back on the court would help her rediscover her love for the game. They pointed to other athletes who had been forced into early comebacks and had eventually thrived. "Pressure makes diamonds," they said. "She's a fighter. She'll rise to the occasion." They shared videos of Caitlin's past highlights. They made tribute edits. They bought tickets and merchandise, eager to welcome her back with open arms. But on the other side were the critics. They were furious. They accused the team of exploitation. They called the contract clause inhumane. They demanded that the league intervene and protect players from being forced to play before they're ready. "She's not a robot," they argued. "She's a human being. She has a life. She has a future. You can't just force her to risk everything because of some greedy clause." Some fans even started petitions to boycott the team until Caitlin's contract was renegotiated. The divide was stark. And in the middle of it all was Caitlin Clark herself, silent, isolated, and caught between two worlds. She didn't ask for any of this. She didn't want to be a symbol. She didn't want to be a cause. She didn't want to be the center of a controversy. She just wanted to be healthy. She just wanted to be happy. She just wanted to play basketball on her own terms. But now, that choice had been taken away from her. The real question, what happens next? Scene opens with a slow-motion shot of Caitlin Clark stepping onto the court, her expression unreadable. The camera fades to black. Text appears. "The answer will surprise you." So where does this leave us? What happens next for Caitlin Clark? For Stephanie White? For the team? For the league? The answer is, nobody knows. But here's what we can predict. First, Caitlin Clark will play. She has no choice. But she will play cautiously. She will protect herself. She will not take unnecessary risks. And the moment something feels wrong, she will stop. Second, Stephanie White will continue to shield her. She will manage her minutes. She will bench her at the first sign of struggle. She will be Caitlin's voice, because Caitlin can't speak for herself right now. Third, the controversy isn't going away. Fans will continue to debate. Critics will continue to attack. And the league will face mounting pressure to reform its contract policies. Fourth, Caitlin Clark will eventually speak. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And when she does, her words will shake the basketball world to its core. Because Caitlin Clark is not just a player. She's a person with feelings, fears, and a future. And this time, whether she wins or loses, she'll be fighting for something much bigger than a championship. She'll be fighting for her right to choose. And that, Yanni, is the real story.